तो कहानी की शुरुआत करते हैं बर्मा से। 9 and also an icon of freedom took the birth. The reason for this is Gandhiji, when he said that disobedience to injustice is the foundation of true freedom. Now let's talk about her education and early influences. So she studied at Madras Medical College, pursuing MBBS in 1938. Therein she also saw her mother transform from a high society socialite into a Congress activist, and one day her mother burnt all her daughter's foreign dresses in a Swadeshi bonfire. That is when she realized the true spirit of nationalism and the importance of self-reliance. She realized that real freedom was not only against the British, but against social inequality. The South's movement for independence Sehgal's life is a message that rebellion